it to Friday. Welcome to KSAT News Now, coming to you from our KSAT 12 newsroom.
Yes.
Stephen Cavazos, what is happening, my man?
You know what? It's been a short week. I mean, compared to last week, the week that would never end. This one went by pretty quickly, and I think that you know, we had a pretty good start during the morning show, but unfortunately we have some stuff to talk about that's still lingering around on the roadways. We'll get to that a little bit in a
we
second.
will definitely do that. Also, we're going to be talking a little bit of rodeo here in just a little bit. Hopefully people got, you know, started there, getting their rodeo plans for the weekend. And of course, cannot forget, it is Super Bowl Sunday. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit here in just 1 minute, including what it's going to cost people, or the average cost, to potentially host a little get-together for Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, so I'm not about the Super Bowl get-togethers, but I am about, like, you know, making enough food to where I feel like I'm going to be so full. Hot dogs. We talked about my cavachos.
Yes. All right. I want to dive a little bit deeper into
yes.
that.
Well, again, that's a recepe. It's a secret recipe, but I may bring some to work on Monday because I know you're going to have to come in early, right?
Yeah, definitely. So either we'll both be here early Monday, but before we get to that, let's go ahead and check on this accident that you've been following throughout the morning.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, that big rig crash that is causing a lot of delays on the city's far east side. So check that out. This is actually some progress, believe it or not. There was one point where we saw a standstill along I-10 eastbound towards 1604, and this is a shot at FM 1516. Now, Katrina Weber has been updating us. She went out there to get some information on this crash, and she actually did tell me that she was stuck in traffic for a little bit. So some of the information that she shared was that the 18-wheeler pulled into the right, and some of the wheels actually went off the side of the highway, which was about a foot drop. Now, that's what caused that rollover out there, and unfortunately, it looks like there was another truck that was involved in that crash. So in terms of injuries, we know that a passenger of the pickup went to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, so that's good. And no one else was hurt, but you can still see that we have our first responders out there. It takes a while whenever you have an 18-wheeler that rolls over like that, because you do have to get it right side up, and usually that involves a pretty big wrecker out there. But again, this is going to be closed for quite a while. It's causing some delays. Like it, not a good situation out there, but the good news is no serious injuries that we're seeing that were reported. But Katrina Weber will have more on this story later today at noon. But hopefully a better update by then in terms of the traffic situation. Yeah,
not a great start there for people that are in this part of town, either making their way, you know, to maybe lunch or trying to figure out what they're going to do here for the weekend. But hopefully we get things cleared up in this area.
Yeah, and Katrina did mention that the big rig leaked some fuel and oil on the road, which is likely why we're going to see this for a little while longer, RJ. But it was a major traffic backup, but you could see things are moving slowly. Progress is good, but we're going to monitor that, of course, throughout the day.
At a snail's pace. That's been keeping you very busy so far this morning, Stephen. So we appreciate that, and of course all the work that Katrina and our crew are doing out there. Moving on to some of our top stories this morning, we're talking about the latest here in Uvalde. The Texas Department of Public Safety has finished its investigation into how troopers responded to the Robb Elementary School shooting. Yeah,
that's right. The agency fired Officer Sergeant Juan Maldonado and is attempting to terminate Ranger Christopher Kindle. A third trooper, Crimson Elizondo, resigned before the investigation into her conduct was resolved.
Yeah, and according to a DPS spokesperson here, the 4 remaining troopers have been cleared. After yesterday's budget hearing at the Texas Capitol, Director Steve McCraw says no other troopers will face discipline. And again, just another sort of example of how long it's taken to kind of reach some of these points here. But obviously these investigations take time, but still it's been months and months.
It has, and it's crazy to think we already haven't even seen a year of this yet. But we know there's a huge timeline to follow from May 24th to where we're at now. You know, in addition to that, you know, with regards to Elizondo, if you remember, she was later hired by the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District for the police department, but due to a lot of the community outrage and the criticism that came with that, they ultimately decided to fire her. So that was a pretty, you know, interesting nugget that came out of that. But I think that, again, it's going to be a very long timeline, even before we get to May 24th. It's a lot has happened.
Yeah, a lot of fallout here, and we will continue to follow the very latest there when it comes to the state investigation into, of course, that tragic and horrific shooting there. But okay, so moving on to so it's another story we've been following very closely here. Garrett Berger's been doing a lot of work for us here as the filing deadline for the San Antonio City Council races gets closer. We still do not know if embattled District 10 Councilman Clayton Perry will run for a fourth and final term.
Yeah, the North Side councilman faces charges in an alleged drunk driving hit and run. And it's not just Perry who's up in the air as of this morning. Only one candidate has filed for the District 10 race.
And that is retired engineer and actually Perry appointee to the Building Standards Board. His name is Joel Solis. Meanwhile, several former District 10 council members confirmed that they've advised Perry actually not to run for re-election.
Yeah, and that includes his predecessor and District 10 recent fill-in, Mike Gallagher. And this was something, again, Garrett Berger has been following this. We know that Councilman Perry avoided questions at that time. He told reporters, he said that he walked away from the media questions. This is an article on our website, which has the full details. But it's still unclear if he'll walk away from City Council. We know Pauline Rubio and Joe Garcia, who made the short list to serve as Perry's replacement during his leave of absence, may also end up on the ballot, but that's not been confirmed. But we know that Garrett, again, has been following that saga play out at City Hall.
Yeah, and if you're watching us on KSAT.com or KSAT Plus right now, of course, Councilman Perry's political future has been uncertain since his suspected involvement in that hit-and-run crash all the way back in early November. And he now faces a misdemeanor DWI charge for failure to stop and provide information. So there's still a lot to go through there, and again, he's been a little sort of evasive when it comes to answering questions about this, but the filing deadline for the to get on the ballot is February 17th, so
that's
we
coming
will
up.
Probably know by then.
That's next Friday. That's next Friday.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more information from City Hall, and again, Garrett's following that story.
All right. Okay. Southwest Airlines, man. So were you caught up in all this?
No, I know you
craziness?
were.
I
know you were.
Yeah. So Southwest Airlines, thank the Lord here, they're upgrading their outdated crew scheduling system in the wake of all those cancellations over the holidays.
Wow. Yeah, the company says the software is to blame for the airline's Christmas week meltdown when it forced the company to cancel nearly 17,000 flights. I know that was tough.
That was, that was not too fun to be part of that right in the middle of it. So Southwest executives addressed the issue yesterday during a Senate hearing. They also apologized to passengers, and the president of the airline's pilot union testified that Southwest was actually warned about its technology for years and did nothing, which I think they didn't admit to that, but they did admit to having to upgrade a lot of their systems.
Yes.
And
programs. I've actually not been on a commercial or airline in quite some time. I haven't flown.
No,
I haven't. So I can't imagine for a lot of people that were traveling still. I mean, that was probably obviously such a debacle. But
yeah, I mean, for the most part, Southwest has been pretty reliable. In this case, I got caught up in that.
You
I
did.
ended up having a flight that was canceled. I was supposed to fly back from El Paso back here to San Antonio, and that was not fun having to drive like 10 hours back back home. But you know what? I got a lot of points out of the deal. I got a refund. And all my expenses were taken care of. So
some consolation.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to pass up on those points. So yeah, probably be flying Southwest here in the near future again. But good to know that they are obviously taking steps here to avoid something else like that. That was terrible. That was not fun.
I'm sure. Well, you know what? You could always take a horse next time, RJ, because. Moving on to the next story. Yeah. It's time to Rodeo San Antonio. The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo kicked off last night, and many of you joined us as our team was out there live covering the opening. It was pretty amazing. I was talking to me in Montgomery about that.
Yeah, this is so cool. Obviously, rodeo season, one of the best times here in San Antonio. So we saw, of course, all the amazing food. I'm going to get a recap from me here in a bit. We saw the mutton busting, some bull riding. The music, there was so much more. Ryan Bingham opened up the concert series. So yeah, just a lot of fun out there.
That's pretty exciting. Look at that guy go. Wow. Oh my gosh.
What is that,
That's
bronco
intense.
busting?
I can barely do the mechanical thing that they have going on over there. But that is
the local
so
country
crazy.
bar, yeah.
I mean, my back would be killing me. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm just astonished at this. I can't
What's
imagine.
this one called? The wrestling or something, right? The cattle.
Can I
don't know,
tell
just
you
making
something? Did I ever? Oh yeah. Well, you know what? The rodeo is on right now, and this evening, Jake Owen will be performing at the AT&T Center. And fun fact, you know, I raised a hog.
No, I did not.
Mia looked shocked.
Wow.
I had no idea, Stephen.
I did. I raised a hog.
Did you show it like in a county show?
I did. I
Like
was
an
so
FFA
happy.
thing or
Yeah,
something?
no, it was 4-H, and I was 15th place. So I was really. But you know what? I mean, really, it is a lot about the waking up early, having responsibility.
It teaches you accountability. It teaches you responsibility. It teaches you how.
It really does.
It builds character.
It does. I mean, listen. I think it built some pretty good character for me. I mean, as an adult.
I'm impressed, Steven. Just sprinkled in that little fun fact there.
Fun little fact. Yes, I did raise a hog.
Did you name the hog?
Yeah, her name was Charlotte, and it wasn't because of Charlotte and Charlotte's Web. It's just, she just looked like a Charlotte.
She looked like a Charlotte.
Called her Lottie.
Oh, that's cute.
I called her Lottie.
Lottie.
She was cute.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, I will say, being out there at the rodeo last
Yeah.
night, obviously it was the opening night, but you could just feel the excitement that everybody had. I mean, people were screaming, they were hollering.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we said "Let's Rodeo" San
I
Antonio
love it.
last night. It really was so
Keep it
phenomenal.
going.
And the good thing about it also was the weather was really nice too.
Yes.
So we got
Gorgeous.
the needed rain on Wednesday, which yes, it was needed, but that kind of moved out yesterday for opening day. We were out there all day long doing live shots for our newscast. We had plenty of sunshine out there. And it was really nice. Temperatures too. A little warm out there in the afternoon. We had a cold front move through last night, and that is one of the reasons why it is so windy out there today. That's the big story this morning, along with some cooler temperatures than what we saw yesterday. We're at 49 right now over at SA International, but I mentioned those winds. This is a look at the current wind gusts in and around the San Antonio area this hour, generally in between about 25 to 30 miles per hour for most of us. New Braunfels, though, clocking in a wind gust of 35 miles per hour. Kerrville clocking in a wind gust of about 32 miles per hour. So we'll see these gusty winds stick with us in some way, shape, or form throughout the remainder of the day. However, I do think into the afternoon and especially this evening, we'll start to see those wind gusts calm down and subside a little bit more. We also found some mid and high level clouds out there this morning as we head into this Friday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine is going to be found. It's really going to be a nice day, just a little breezy and gusty at times. Overall, by about 4 to 5 p.m. here in San Antonio, we're climbing into the mid to upper 50s. And then if you're stepping out for any Friday evening plans, probably a good idea to take the jacket with you, because after the sun goes down, clear skies will allow those temperatures to fall into the 40s. So we will see those temperatures turn chilly after sunset. Waking up Saturday morning, potentially a light freeze here in San Antonio, but this weekend, especially tomorrow, looking beautiful. Plenty of sunshine, highs topping off in the low 60s, so a little bit below average for this time of year. Sunday, a few degrees warmer, still low 60s though by Sunday afternoon. One of the bigger differences that we're going to see for the second half of the weekend compared to tomorrow is a little bit more of the cloud cover that's going to work back in, and that's going to signal some additional changes into the beginning of next week. Monday, it's possible we find an isolated shower, but really the next bigger chance we have to find some storms is overnight Monday and into the pre-dawn hours of Tuesday. The good news is if you're stepping out to the rodeo, any other Valentine's Day plans on Tuesday, all of that's out of here. It will be windy, but it'll be sunny, and then temperatures a little bit warmer in the mid 70s for Valentine's Day plans. Close to 80 next Wednesday. And then we'll monitor another cold front that moves in by late week.
We're still in
next week.
February, and I love that Valentine's Day already looks like a gorgeous day.
Yes, it'll after we get those storms to clear, we'll see more sun. It'll be windy, but it'll still be nice, all things considered.
Very nice. Very nice. Mia, real quick before you leave us, what is your favorite part of Super Bowl Sunday? If you had to pick one thing, is it the halftime show, commercials?
The commercials, actually. The halftime show is great, but I do love me a good Super Bowl commercial, because obviously, brands just, they put their best foot forward.
They do.
Into
Creativity.
They try.
That's right. Whether it's the ads, the
What's
halftime
yours?
show.
Yeah. You know what? I try to enjoy the game as much as possible, but I also like to do a little bit of wagering on there too. So we were talking about those squares earlier.
I don't know what the squares are, but I do know that I like the food. I
should have said the food,
show.
of course.
I am so excited about that. I mean, I can't even tell you. I mean, but I'm gonna probably have to head to the store today only because You got to beat the crowd.
Yep.
And I may already have lost out on some good
classic
products.
Cavacho items.
HEB's
Yeah,
going to be
Cavacho.
a madhouse this weekend. You
I
know
might
it.
as well
You
head
know
out
it.
there right now after the show. All
Well,
right.
great job at the rodeo.
Thank
you guys
you,
did an
guys.
amazing
Yeah,
job with the
great
special.
stuff.
It
It
was
looked
fun.
great,
Yes.
and it looked like you guys had yourself a great time out there.
A good old
old
hee-haw, great time. That is for sure.
Love that.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thanks.
Mia.
You
And we're
bet.
talking about Super Bowl here. Of course, it is Super Bowl weekend, which means that there are a lot of things to get excited about. They're talking about the game, Philadelphia taking on Kansas City, Rihanna, there we go, the commercials and the food.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
what we just mentioned. Many of you are staying home and hosting parties, but just how much is that costing?
Okay, interesting. According to a report from Betway, party hosts will spend on average $181 for their Super Bowl party this year.
Wow, that is about 10% more than last year. A lot of the spending going towards food, alcohol, and of course, decorations. You got to have a vibe.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
A theme?
Yeah, well, yeah, football is a theme, so
A vibe and a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all about the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much are you spending on Super Bowl this weekend? You were talking about getting your cavachos ready to go here. Steve.
well, I would never like talk about how much I spend on like food, but I mean, I think in general,
Yeah.
depending on how many people you're cooking for, I really try to keep it very low key.
Yeah, okay.
It is Sunday. I do have to be up early for work. I work
Same
GMSA,
here.
and you
Yeah,
do
I'll
as
be with
well.
you.
So,
Yeah.
but I think in general, I mean, you know, ground beef. You
Yeah,
get the
there we
chips.
go,
You know,
there we
really
go.
would probably it wouldn't be more. It wouldn't be that much
Okay.
for a small crowd. But
I'm looking forward to these cavachos.
oh, okay.
You
See,
definitely caught my attention.
Now, cavachos. I love how we have that in the
putting it-
prompter. So I will bring some. I guess I don't want to bring leftovers because that's kind of like leftover nachos.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing. Do y'all like that?
It could be a
okay.
thing.
Well, no, I can make some fresh ones.
Okay.
I mean, I'll make. Well, I feel pressure. Okay. Gosh, I gotta start cooking for these people on Monday. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, definitely. Did not mean to put the pressure
It's
on you
okay.
there.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, we were on Instagram Live earlier, and we were talking about also what song do we think that Rihanna will
It's gonna
up
open with, and I think Shine Bright Like a Diamond.
There you go. You're going with that one.
Yeah.
I think Umbrella would be a pretty good one to start, but that can also be a closer too.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I mean,
She's
it's
got a
got
lot
to
of
be
songs.
something that's going to get people going. I mean, that's what's going to be exciting about it.
going.
Last year we had a really great performance as well. We saw a bunch of
Yes.
superstars.
The West Coast.
Yes,
rappers,
I thought
the
it was
West-
amazing,
yeah.
and something different than what we had seen
Yeah.
before. This year, Rihanna, I'm very excited about that because we haven't seen her perform in such a long time, and she has so many hits.
Yeah,
so many
she
hits.
does. There's a lot to go through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you guys, have some great plans ahead for Super Bowl Sunday. And before we leave you guys, want to also mention that we want you to check us out. The news at noon. We'll have the latest on, of course, that accident that Stephen has been talking about throughout the entire morning.
Yeah, and we're gonna have more coverage on the rodeo as day 2 kicks off.
And the Spurs, don't forget,
All
they're
right.
actually playing tonight. Yes, our Spurs are
There's a
playing
lot
tonight
going on.
in Detroit, and they did a lot of wheeling and dealing themselves yesterday. So we'll talk about some of the latest draft picks that the Silver and Black will have into the future. Hopefully they could get a win. They've lost 10 straight
Yeah.
games. It's sad right
Come
now.
on,
in
go
Spurs.
Spurs, go. Go.
There you go.
All
We
right.
need some of your cavachos.
Oh, all right, right on. Okay, I'll bring those by.
All right, guys, have a great weekend, and hopefully you guys stay safe out there. We'll see you back here Monday at 11 a.m. on KSAT.